Hey, welcome back. Going to do a comparison video today, but not really. I'm going to compare it by memory to something that I no longer have because I added it to my infinity bottle. But I do remember what it tastes like. And sometimes having stuff absolutely side by side, maybe this one's a little better. You keep trying them back and forth, but from one day to the next, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. So sometimes it's better to review them against another bourbon with some distance in place. But we'll get into it right after this. All right, we have Jefferson's Reserve. This is very small batch. I'm sorry, this is not Reserve. This is Jefferson's very small batch blend of straight bourbon whiskey. So another blend, but I have had a lot of success with blends. There is a batch number on here. This is 670, bottle number 02295. It is a 41.15% by volume, 82.3 proof. So it is a lower proof. It's on the lower end. And when I say lower, roughly I judge it by if it's 90 proof or higher or below 90 proof. So this being only in the low 80s, this is going to be that lower end. So let's try the cork here. A little squeaky, but that's okay. It's sealed pretty good. Let's pour you a little bit. Okay. As always, if you have the VR visors, you can just look down. You can see that there in front of you. I do that for the experience. You can see me reaching out. If you don't have the visors on, that's fine. You can use your mouse, scroll around, or just tilt your phone and look around. Now, what I'm doing is comparing. Now, this is a blend, but what I'm doing is comparing this to Jefferson's Ocean in my mind. Okay, so I am of the school of thought that Jefferson's Ocean is way overpriced. And I do know it costs a lot of money to put barrels on a boat and sail back and forth across the equator and all of that. But is it really worth it? Now, when I was talking about trying bourbons side by side, when you do that, you're going to taint the flavor. One's going to change the complexity of the other one. So it's not always a real good thing to do them side by side. Sometimes it's good to do them, have one day and one the next. An example of this would be if you're a fan of Eagle Rare, grab yourself a bottle of Michter's small batch. They are close. Eagle Rare, slightly better. I will give you that. But if you cannot find Eagle Rare, Michter's is a great standby for Eagle Rare. Now, is Jefferson small batch, very small batch, a good standby or even a good replacement for Jefferson's Ocean? I don't know. Let's see. So let's get some air in this thing. Love the little tornado swirl. And give her a nose. I can tell you, the vanillas are coming through. The fruit notes are coming through. Very typical bourbon notes. Not getting a lot of spice kick off that on the nose. Very creamy. Yeah, it's pretty good nose on it. Picking up a little. Yeah, there's some wood in there. Probably some, smoky notes. Picking up some flowery notes, but not floral, like maybe some wildflower type notes. Little herbal coming through. A little darker note in there too, like a tea, just like a dark tea, a good tea. Yeah. So good trails. They're running fairly slow enough. I've seen better, but it's got some decent legs on it. We'll get that initial sip out of the way. I can tell you that is really good. Just off of that initial sip, I've got it all around. Not going to give too many notes off that. The legs are getting stronger all the time. Get a little more air in here. Oh yeah, that's coating pretty darn good. Yeah, it's not punchy vanilla. It's more of a subdued, but it's still very present. Had a decent finish on that first swallow, but let's take another one. Yep, that is nice. That is really nice. Getting a good the oaky notes on there. Not super sweet down the middle. This is one not like Elijah Craig or the sweeter ones. This is more a little on the drier side, but there's still some sweet notes there. But they're different. I mean, there's a difference in sweet if you eat, say, a rich sweet something, and then something that just has a little sugar in it, you know, like sugar in the tea or, you know, something like that, as opposed to a candy bar that has the milk chocolate creaminess or whatever. But yeah, it's not super sweet, but it's not totally dry either. I would put this toe to toe with Jefferson's Ocean any day. I guarantee you that. I'm getting that same. I remember those notes, and it's like it's a leathery type woody note, like a little peppery note across the tongue, and some people say, oh, you know, Jefferson's Ocean salty. I never got that out of it. Just because it rocked around on a boat at sea doesn't mean it's salty. I've heard someone say something about salty caramel. Maybe, but very little salt in there, if any. I'm getting the same sensation off this though, and I don't believe it's salt at all. I believe it's spicy note. There's a hint of some type of spice in there, peppery spice that's bringing that out. And in some places, this could be as much as $45, $50 less than Jefferson's Ocean. And this is a fine whiskey, bourbon in and of itself. I am really enjoying this. The legs are really strong. The finish on it, it lasts a few swallows, but there's not a lot going on the finish. I know I've had some of them where I said, oh, that lingering finish is just pleasing. This is there, but it's not really making me want to go back and take another just to keep that finish going. It's not that, but it's not bad. But neither is Jefferson's Ocean. I get the same thing off of it that I remember. Lower alcohol. It drinks around its alcohol content. No burn, no singe. Not getting a lot of warmth, not getting a lot of hug. But that's indicative of lower proofs. But yeah, the more I drink on it, the more the creamier it gets. I would say, silky. You know, we talk about bourbons being smooth. This is really an easy sipper. It really is. I wouldn't put any water in this. It's already subdued enough, I think, right here in the glass. So you know, I wouldn't add water to it. Oh yeah, that's good though. Really good bourbon. And I really do like blends because they do tend to get my mind going because they're not just one bourbon in there. So you don't just get one set of notes. You're getting possibly different mash bills coming together. And sometimes that can subdue certain notes, but they're still there. and they still peek out every once in a while you're drinking it. And it's just a really, really interesting ride when you find a bourbon like that. Is this putting a huge smile on my face? No, but it's a fine, fine bourbon for those who like the Jefferson line. I think this is fantastic. I wouldn't waste my money on the Jefferson's Ocean. If I do run across bourbons that I think are worth the money, I will absolutely let you know. But when I run across bourbons of that caliber, I want to try their little cousins over here to see if that difference really is big enough. And I know that when I was bringing you one video, I believe I put Booker's against, well, it was the Beam Suntory lineup. And I said in that video, do I think Booker's is worth the more money? And I said in that video, to me, the answer is yes. To everybody, I don't know. That's a personal thing. But if you try it and you're seeking that extra darker complexity and that higher proof, I think it is worth it for me. But I don't think Jefferson's Ocean's worth it to me. And so that's kind of putting it in perspective because I can't speak for everyone. But yeah, that's a fine bourbon. And this is what I would go for if you really want to try and see what Jefferson's is all about. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. As always, please like and subscribe. Hit the bell down there for notifications. Share my video out. And I promise I'll keep bringing you these videos.